Alright guys, I hope that the video's audio is okay, and I see some of the people watching, so if you're there, please type something in the chat. Let me know that everything is working fine. And we'll start in a minute. Okay, at least it works on my side. So there's a little delay between the video and the messages in the chat. In any case, things seem to be working fine. Hello, Benjamin. Thank you for letting me know that things are good. Okay, today we'll talk about Bitcoin and some of the other things on the crypto market like altcoins and what to expect in the near future and what happened basically and how to interpret it and how to make some profitable trades, I hope. First of all, guys, we'll look at the price and then I will return back to the chat and see if you have any questions. Maybe you would like to look at some of the altcoins of your favorite ones, something like that. And we'll finish with that. Okay, now about Bitcoin. Well, you see that we basically currently in a very uncertain situation. The thing is, as we discussed before, if we start to move from the higher time frames to the lower time frames, we will see that generally, like extremely long time frame, we are in the rising trend, right? Bitcoin is going up forever with certain corrections. If we look at shorter time frame, then we might consider the fact that that was kind of an all-time high for a midterm period of time, and that might become a beginning of the long correction period. Still, we have the lower high, and currently we didn't print the lower low somewhere around here, right? Or we didn't make a pair of higher highs and higher lows. So that means that we don't know exactly at the moment what to expect. However, on the other hand, we made it possible to stand to hold that area around $30,000, and there was like a relatively strong rally from there. And after that, the question is, when that rally overs here, whether we see the correction from that rally, or that is the continuation of like a second phase, second step of overall general huge correction over here. And that's not clear until we'll see how this price evolves, whether it goes like this, below this point of $30,000, or we can hold above that and make a higher high, as I said. On the even shorter time frame, we see some hints. So first of all, what I would like to point out is we see this zone between $30,000 and $40,000, and we had a very long period of time being stayed there, like a consolidation after that correction, right? And what happened after that is we almost, and well, actually we entered the previous zone, accumulation, or actually that was the distribution zone. So we entered that zone, and the point is that we couldn't stay there, and we saw gradual weakening of the trend, and then we finally saw that huge dumps here, right? 1, 2 already. And that second dump, well, the first one actually found the support on the previous resistance over here, and then we saw the test of the same level second time. For the third time, we broke it, right? We broke that support somewhere around $40,000 to $43,000 down to the upper limit of the previous zone, which is $40,000. And price actually did pierce it a little bit, and then still we held above it, right? So basically, generally, as soon as we stay above the support, this is a good sign. And currently, we are making attempts. We see that Bitcoin is making attempts to go higher from there. And furthermore, even a shorter time frame, we see the second dump. So we know that the news about China, that it's banning cryptocurrency accounts on the exchanges, and a lot of people are panicking about it, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of a news which assumed to be or associated with this dump. But the point is that we see the decrease in price to the level of $40,000 several times already. So you know that the more often we test the level, the more likely it is broken. So 1, 2, 3 times already. That yellow rectangular zone. And the idea is, if we test it again, then the likelihood that it's broken is very, very high. Now, what to expect from there? If we don't go there, we are actually very close to this local high. So if we go closer to that high and actually to this resistance line, then I think it's more likely than not that we will break it. And then we test the lower area, the resistance of this previous huge zone where we were before. And this is a bullish sign. Moreover, you see that generally that forms a decreasing wedge, right? Descending wedge. And this descending wedge generally is a bullish pattern, right? The thing is, though, we could actually break that resistance still and go very low within this wedge. And generally, I would say that I would love to see that $40,000 broken and the price goes to something like $38,000 at least, maybe even like $35,000. Here is 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level here. There is a lot of liquidity around that area, so it would be reasonable to see if we go there. On the other hand, still, this is descending wedge. The descending wedges are the bullish patterns. You see that it worked here, it worked here, it worked here. Moreover, where it was somewhere, I think, on BLX. No, it wasn't BLX. It was on Bitstamp, right? So those are wedges, like more clean wedges, which worked before, right? And currently we are in the one of them. The thing is, though, that wedge, for example, was within the bullish trend, right? So you'd expect it to be strong breakout to the upside. That was within the bearish subtrend. And although it was broken to the upside as it's supposed to happen, but the likelihood for that is lower. The same here. However, this one is better than this one because we already had one breakout to the upside, so it potentially an end for that correction. However, as you can see, like here, we had the area around $30,000, which was tested so many times, and it's almost like a support zone which has to be broken. The same zone is here. You'd expect to be at least like a wick, like a shadow of the candle going there and then return back. It didn't happen. And all of that adds some kind of a stress for the price. And basically here, it's very possible that we go the other route, the opposite route. So we actually break that wedge to the downside, especially since we see that support area around here, and we see so much of the liquidity, and basically that might be initial support which we can find the stop before going higher. Or if we go there, it's very likely, very at least very possible that after so many tests over here, we see the breakout of that support. So we should be very cautious about all of that. Now, that is basically the major pattern which is formed right now in most of the altcoins which we're looking at, which we could look at. Like Ether basically does the same thing as Bitcoin do. Well, let me return back for a second before we go with altcoins. I just want to also say that generally that drop is very well correlated with the correction of the more traditional markets like stocks, indices, even commodities, and so on, because there are a lot of uncertainty, like Chinese real estate market and so on, and we do have investors being not sure what happened next. They try to decrease the risk, and they decrease their long positions, which we see in the price of the traditional conventional markets. And that is connected with Bitcoin, of course, because the capital is distributed everywhere, so we just see the reflection of that uncertainty on the price of Bitcoin as well. So although we do the analysis on Bitcoin, it's also so much entangled with the rest of the economy, finances, that we might be very right about our expectations on Bitcoin price. However, as soon as the more liquid markets will go certain way, Bitcoin couldn't hold. I think so. Okay, now about the altcoins. So altcoins do show the same patterns as Bitcoin mostly. So the same descending wedge. Again, descending wedge is a bullish pattern. So we could go much lower from here, but then eventually we should see the breakout to the upside. At least statistically, it happens more often than not. So, but there are more types of altcoins, so 2 types of altcoins now. So some of them show that descending wedge, and actually even more, moreover, some of them showing that wedge is being broken to the upside. So this is more like a channel, but still we see that on Solana. So as soon as we see more things like that, as soon as we see more altcoins breaking to the upside, that would be the first sign that Bitcoin is actually going to do the same thing eventually. And if it does, apparently that area, well, actually the zone, let me real quick point it out, somewhere here, so a little below $50,000. So that zone is the next resistance zone. So as soon as we go there, probably test it, and if we don't reject it, if we break it, then it's very likely that we'll continue going up, and then all that previous corrections would have very high chance to be over. But so far we see very few altcoins doing these things. So I'll just show you some. For example, Polkadot. Polkadot shows something like the pattern of uncertainty, the widening formation. It's still very, very close. Well, you can draw it a little bit differently, something like this, right? And maybe like this, but it depends. So basically it shows the widening pattern and the broadening pattern, and we don't know where it's to be broken, to the upside or to the downside, because it's not such a clean one as the descending wedge. And this is a different thing. So as soon as it will be broken, then it's more clean. But regarding the wedges, again, Polkadot shows the wedge here, and another wedge, small one here. Let me show it here. So all of them were broken exactly as it should be according to the technical analysis rules. Another one, XTZ Tether, another broadening pattern, right? This one. It had a little bit of the support line here, which was broken, so it makes me think that it's probably not bullish at the moment. So we'll see to that, but it's not already as good as Ether, for example, which is not Ether, Solana, which had this breakout. Another one, IOTA. IOTA had this descending wedge. Again, very, very sharp one, close to the breakout point. We can extend it actually and make it something like this. So in fact, it could be broken to the upside, but still face this resistance. What else? Like Aave, of the broadening formation, same as with the other one. LTC, the descending wedge, ZEC, descending wedge, Link, descending wedge, Cardano, descending wedge. You see how similar are there, and most of them are showing this descending wedge formation. For the Cardano coin though, there is this support area around $2, so it's very important to stay there, and it might look actually as the descending triangle, not the wedge. Descending triangle as opposed to descending wedge is a bearish formation, so it could be broken, and broken pretty painfully. Uniswap, another wedge slash channel, broken to the upside just very recently. XRP, another, oh, did I show it here? Yeah, XRP is a little bit more tricky, but generally you can still draw the same type of the wedge here, like this, and huge triangular formation. In fact, we may stay here for a while and then eventually break one way or another. But as you see, there are two types of altcoins, either showing a very clean, clear wedge, descending wedge, or something which is more either uncertain or already bullish. So something like Solana is more bullish with the breakout. Tezos is uncertain with the broadening formation. So the more altcoins like Solana we'll see, the more likely we will get something similar on Bitcoin, and market goes up. But until then, we have to be clear, we have to sure that this is exactly what happens. So far, we don't know. What else? What else is important? I already told you when we were here that I would like to see some more convincing signals for the fact that this is the bottom. Here, we didn't see much. We did see some bullish divergence over here, but only on the very short period. So it's like 1-2 divergence. It worked, but very little. The same here. Here it was even less convincing. It was like 1 hour time frame bullish divergence, but not on a 4-hour time frame or on a daily time frame. Instead, here we have this support. Well, we're kind of having higher highs here, but still I would call it a zone, the support zone, and it's alarming, right? It's alarming, and I don't see much of the signals for this to be the bottom, right? No divergences, no TD sequential, no volume, no pullback. So we generally see the sharp drops with strong volume supporting those drops. So a lot of liquidity collected during those candles, and then very weak recovery from those. So I would incline to think that is the more likely scenario, like more likely than not, like this. And then eventually we will go up. Then here we'll see. So after the breakout, if we find the support, something like this, that is another bullish scenario. If we don't find the support, if we break this, but then 30,000 is another point to consider, to think where can we go. I think I did post something else which I should tell about before. Oh yeah, so this is the correlation. I think I didn't tell about this correlation. That's basically a Bitcoin, gold, and German indices, DAX, and they correlate almost perfectly. So this is how we see the fact that Bitcoin follows huge markets. And another one is probably this. So this is the long-term view. I posted on Twitter, I posted on Telegram. If you didn't see there you go. So generally just a very nice geometrical representation of the long-term cycles of Bitcoin. And the thing which is kind of alarming right now is the fact that this looks very much as the start of the descending triangle, which were here and here and actually before as well, but those are more clean. And then the drop after the descending triangle, which is a bearish formation, ended on the height of this triangle here again, and the channel of the growth is very nice and clean again. Another one channel is here, and the overall drop from the all-time highs for on every cycle is like 80-85%. According to that, we should have seen the drop of within this triangle regions below 30,000. Might happen actually 1 year from now or something, but eventually the price could reach somewhere in between $10,000 to $20,000, and then from there, that point, we could see the recovery. At least that is the potential expectation, potential outcome for all that. It might never happen, but the geometry is very, very interesting. What else? I told already about the wedges. That is probably pretty much it. So me personally, I do hold most of my short positions. I did close from the last stream. I think I did close only some of the Polkadot, some of the actually I did close completely my Bitcoin Cash. That was a short which I closed. I closed some of the Solana, most of the Solana. I left only a little bit of it, and I did some short stop triggered on my Tezos position. Still, I added another short on Tezos, and it works pretty well. I still have a lot of on DOT. I added DOT actually. I added Tezos. I added Ether. I added what else did I add? I think Cardano, not so huge, and Uniswap. I had this position just today, I think. Currently, it's in the not in the profit, you see, it's in a loss. So I'm thinking whether I should close it or not. Probably I'll hold it a little bit, and if I see some signals for my so basically mostly for the Bitcoin going through that wedge, I probably at least will decrease this position to some point. But for the rest, I probably will hold all of my bearish sentiment so far, all of my short positions open for a while, and that's the plan. I will close them when probably Bitcoin will go to that area, $35,000-$38,000. Altcoins, most of them will follow, I guess, although they do show some kind of a bullish behavior at some point, like Tethers did this rise, and so on and so forth. But the trend is your friend, so I have to follow the charts. That is pretty much it what I wanted to show you today, guys. So I'll go and look if you have any questions in the chat for the next few minutes, and if not, we'll wrap it up. So please go ahead and write what you like to look at, and if you have any questions. So again, hello Benjamin, Anoffer Valsper, okay, hello Anoffer. I'm sorry if I did pronounce your names or nicknames in a wrong way. It's just hard on the internet, right? Thank you for watching, Anoffer. I appreciate your kind words. Suhas, hello. Sell or buy? Okay, so basically I already tell you what I think to do. So if you don't have any position, right? If you don't have any position like I did, I actually did cover all of those in previous stream. I would currently wait for one or another thing to occur. First potential thing to happen is that we go this area. So we can go short on most of the coins, including Bitcoin, when we see something like this. And then the stop is above that line, the entry somewhere here. Very nice entry for the short position. If we do see the other way around, we can again enter long, but with the stop here. And the third thing is this. So if you do see the breakout to the upside and retest of this line of the resistance, you can go along here with a stop below this low. Those are the ways you can deal with the current situation. Pretty much similar manner you can apply for most of the altcoins. So they do act, most of them do act as Bitcoin does, with a little bit tweaking, but generally it's like that. Which are the best altcoins to invest? List 3, please. All right, altcoins to invest. Let's see. I actually did mention some of them. Of course, you do need to understand that this is a very speculative thing, and things could change, and you don't need to. You have to stop yourself when you want to invest too much, and just don't invest more than you can afford to lose. And generally, it's better to keep your portion of altcoins lower than Bitcoin, and like much lower, maybe like 10% or 20%, something like that. But if you ask me, like, if you put a gun to my head and ask which altcoins will you buy for long-term investing, because currently I don't want to invest in any altcoins. I would say Ether, I'd say Polkadot, and I would choose Chainlink if you ask me about 3. So those 3 altcoins I would probably pick. Okay, I hope I answered that question. Benjamin, about ETH. So ETH, as I showed before, it's pretty much similar to Bitcoin right now. So you can see it's a very, very little difference. The one, well, maybe important point here is that we are currently in this, within this zone, and it doesn't give us more of the information about where the breakout will be. But on the other hand, while Bitcoin is, let me show you, while Bitcoin is actually very close to the top of the previous accumulation zone, Ether is much, much higher. So if it goes lower, it needs like to that zone, well, surely you can pick that one is the accumulation. But I would actually make it like this and use this high as an important milestone. So as soon as Ether, and if Ether goes lower, then that is the point where we can expect the stopover. And this is pretty huge, and actually it makes the wedge break into the downside. So I think it decreases the probability of this event to occur, but still, so generally speaking, it looks a little more bullish than BTC. But on the other hand, if the market decides to go down, then Ether will go down much, much deeper than BTC, I think. So far it's stronger, but as soon as the coin flips, the blood comes to the streets. Okay. Heikki H asks, what do you think of the end of year bull run? Probable. Yes, I do think that it's more probable than not. Sorry about this bearishness, guys, but as I showed that tweet, it is very convincing. So we have those cycles. We have a very overbought condition right here. We had, well, we had this, right? If you didn't see that post, the golden ratio multiplier showed us the highs of every cycle over and over again. This was the high in April. It showed us that high, that all-time high. It claims that that would be the top of this long-term cycle. So, and there are so many other points for the fact that this is the end of this bull cycle. I don't know, of course, nobody knows. If somebody tells you that, I know what happens next. This person is either delusional or lying to you. So of course we could go much higher. Something can change and some event could occur, and then we could easily go to 100,000, 300,000 and so on, and see a massive altcoin season on the top of that. But until then, I'd say that it's more likely than not that we'll follow the general pattern like we saw so many times before, and we see so much of the weakness of the current price action situation. So I think that as soon as we stay below the $65,000, and I don't see any strength on BTC, which could show it, like even this major drop was corrected to, by the way, if you haven't seen that, to 61.8% by Fibonacci retracement. So the perfect level of retracement which Bitcoin loves to retrace to. So from there we do see the continuation of the correction. And yeah, so I think it's more likely than not. All right. Benjamin asks again, I think accumulation is right step at the moment. Thanks for the sell token tip sometime years ago. Yeah, so seller. No, sorry, that was seller. It was Celsius, not seller. Right? Celsius token made like 100x growth during recent, what it was, year, 2 years, right? And it was, sorry, it wasn't that, because yes, all. So it was here, something like 5 cents, and it reached like $8. So more than 100x growth. And yeah, I did that. I think I did even kind of a review on Celsius at that point, and there were convincing things about the project, the team, the idea, the environment, and the industry in general. So that was reasonable to expect. So I'm glad that you got some profits from there. But on the other hand, a lot of altcoins did the same thing. So I don't say that I'm picking like one extraordinary altcoin there. It's not true. But on the other hand, yeah, that was a nice pick anyway. Okay, guys, so we did cover most of the things. Still, we do have this channel slightly recovering, very slowly recovering, and we don't have so many people watching, but it will change with time, and those streams will be longer. But so far, I think we'll stop where we are, and let me know in the comments if you do have any other questions, because this stream will be, of course, saved on my channel. As always, please go to my Twitter and Telegram if you do need more frequent updates. I do posts there more often. So that is it for today. Let's see how those things will evolve in the nearest future, because it's a very important and very interesting moment of time with BTC and all this crypto market. So it's make or break whether we'll go up too much, because again, if we see that breakout to the upside, then it's very likely that we'll go much higher, because that is the point deciding with a great extent where we go in the next maybe year, or at least months. And if we go to the downside, again, we might very well continue testing $30,000 and breaking it eventually, just as we did many times before. All right, guys, that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you all the best, profits with your investments, and everything I would like everything would be good. Okay, that's it, guys. Oh, Heiki H, thank you very much for watching as well. Yes, more videos, more streams. I will try to make at least 1 or 2 streams per week. That's it, guys. See you again in the next video. Goodbye.